Hello, I'm Catholic priest Kevin. Today, I want to share something truly remarkable happening in the heart of our church. In just 19 days since his papacy began, Pope Leo XIV has already set in motion 10 profound reforms that are sending ripples of change throughout the Catholic world. From the hallowed halls of the Vatican to the most distant parishes, his decisions are actively redefining centuries-old traditions. But what truly fuels these bold and necessary changes? To truly grasp their essence, we must journey back to the very roots of his faith. If you're watching this video now, know that it is not by chance. The Spirit brings us together in this moment to reflect on the path we are meant to walk. I invite you right now to comment where you're watching from, tap like, subscribe to this channel, and share this with someone who still believes that God works in mysterious ways. Now, let me tell you what has transpired. Reform 1, Barefoot Processions. First change Pope Leo XIV implemented was a poignant directive: every bishop must walk barefoot in at least one public procession each year. This isn't about private devotion or internal church gatherings. This is about stepping outside, onto the streets, where people can witness this act of humility. He emphasized it as a way for leaders within the church to remain grounded, to stay humble, and to truly empathize with the struggles of the poor. As he himself stated, if Christ carried his cross with bare feet, then we can carry ours without shoes too. Many bishops, understandably, were surprised, some even uncomfortable. Yet, Pope Leo remained steadfast, knowing the profound importance of this gesture. This profound conviction traces back to a pivotal memory from Peru, nearly 40 years ago, on July 2, 1987. At that time, he was not yet Pope, he was simply Father Robert, a young missionary serving in a small village nestled amidst hills and dust. One day, a little boy rushed to him, distraught, explaining that his sister was gravely ill and the village priest was absent. Father Robert immediately followed the boy, but the path to the village was unforgiving, strewn with sharp rocks and thorns. The boy, like everyone in the village, wore no shoes. In an act of solidarity and immediate understanding, Father Robert removed his own shoes. He walked barefoot for 2 miles under the scorching sun. His feet bled, his legs ached, but upon his arrival, the villagers welcomed him like family. A woman gently kissed his hand and whispered, "You came like us. Now we believe you." From that moment forward, he never wore shoes unless the people he served also did. Now, as Pope Leo XIV, he desires every bishop to internalize this same crucial lesson: if you are to lead the people, you must first walk with them. Reform 2, Vatican Gardens for the homeless. The second significant change Pope Leo XIV introduced was to designate a small section of the Vatican Gardens as a nightly rest area for a limited number of homeless individuals. This isn't a public access area, it's carefully managed. Each night, a few individuals known to the church, those who have nowhere else to turn, are quietly brought in. They receive warm food, clean blankets, and a safe place to sleep beneath the trees. There are no cameras, no press, just quiet, compassionate assistance. Pope Leo XIV articulated this simply: if the Garden of Eden was meant to be shared, then so should ours. Some within the Vatican expressed surprise. One official even voiced concern, asking, "But won't it ruin the image of the gardens?" To this, the Pope replied, "The only image I care about is Christ, and he had no place to lay his head." This initiative draws inspiration from his early days in Chicago. It was January 1979, and Robert Prevost, before he became Pope Leo, was still a student. He volunteered at a nearby church that operated a small soup kitchen. Every Wednesday, he would hand out bowls of hot stew. But one particular night, after locking up, he saw an old man sitting near the church steps, shivering, wrapped in a newspaper. Robert quietly sat beside him for a while. The man said nothing, but when Robert stood to leave, the man whispered, "Thank you for seeing me." That moment profoundly impacted him. Now, as Pope Leo XIV, he is ensuring that others are seen too, even in a quiet corner of the Vatican Gardens, especially at night. Reform 3, Simpler Papal Attire. The third reform implemented by Pope Leo XIV involves a quiet reduction in the use of overly decorative papal clothing during regular church events. While he still wears traditional garments when necessary, particularly during formal liturgies, outside of these moments, he prefers simpler attire, plain white robes, smaller crosses, and less gold. He has even requested that photographers avoid focusing on the intricate details of his clothing during public appearances. One morning, when asked why he chose a simpler robe for a major mass, Pope Leo XIV smiled and responded, "People are hungry for truth, not fabric." This change didn't cause a scandal, but it certainly raised eyebrows. Some within the Vatican were initially unsure, but many others found it refreshing, as if the Church was breathing a renewed breath. This preference for simplicity stems from how he lived long before he donned the white robes of the Papacy. In 1981, Robert Prevost took his vows with the Augustinian order. These vows included a solemn promise to live simply, and to avoid any form of ostentation. As a young friar, he often served food at the back of the room rather than sitting at the head of the table. He consistently wore the same black robe daily. Years later, when he became a bishop, he maintained his simple clothing, no ornate gold chains, no custom tailoring. On one occasion, during a visit to a rural parish in Peru, a young girl looked at his worn shoes and remarked, "You dress like our fathers. You must care like they do too." Now, as Pope Leo XIV, he continues to believe in that powerful message, "If you want people to see your heart, don't cover it with gold." Reform 4, Inclusive Language in Prayers. The fourth significant change Pope Leo XIV introduced was the subtle integration of more inclusive language into church prayers and liturgies. He has not rewritten everything, the core of the Mass remains unchanged. However, small adjustments have begun to appear, words that are designed to welcome everyone, not just a select few. For example, in some contexts, brothers is now brothers and sisters. In certain readings, gender-neutral terms are being utilized when referring to people of faith. When asked about these adjustments, Pope Leo XIV responded softly, "God speaks to every heart. Our language should not block the sound of his voice." While some bishops expressed uncertainty, with a few deeming it too modern, many others nodded in agreement. They had witnessed what he had witnessed, that small words can carry deep wounds or profound healing. This insight is rooted in his years of service in Peru, between 1985 and 1994. Father Robert served in villages teeming with people of diverse languages, backgrounds, and life stories. Some were women who had never been invited to speak in church, others were families whose children felt unwelcome due to their appearance, clothing, or way of life. He once told a local catechist, "If the gospel makes someone feel left out, we've told it wrong." One Sunday, after Mass under a tree, an elderly woman approached him with tears in her eyes. She said, "I finally heard myself in the prayer today. Thank you." Now, as Pope Leo XIV, he firmly believes that words matter, because sometimes, simply saying you belong is the crucial first step to making it true. Reform 5, Green Vatican Initiative. Fifth groundbreaking change Pope Leo XIV initiated was the launch of a new project called the Green Vatican Initiative. The ambitious goal is for the Vatican to achieve carbon neutrality by the year 2030. This entails a shift towards increased solar energy usage, significant waste reduction, widespread tree planting, and a drastic cutback on plastic and pollution within Vatican City. It's a monumental undertaking, but one the Pope believes is absolutely necessary. He publicly addressed this on May 20, 2025, stating, "We cannot preach care for the soul while ignoring the home that holds it. The earth is God's gift. We must protect it." While some critics deemed it too ambitious and others praised it as brave, Pope Leo XIV was unequivocally clear: caring for the environment is not merely a scientific endeavor, it is faith in action. This conviction stems from what he witnessed in the Amazon years ago. In 1992, Father Robert visited a small village on the edge of the rainforest. What was once lush with green trees and clean rivers was, upon his arrival, largely gone. The trees had been indiscriminately cut down, and the air was thick with smoke from fires used to clear the land. Children coughed from the pollution, and the river was choked with waste. A young girl looked at him and said, "We can't pray under the trees anymore. They are all gone." That moment remained etched in his memory. Now, as Pope Leo XIV, he views environmental stewardship as an integral part of the Church's mission. He believes that to truly honor God, we must also honor His creation, because, as he once wisely said, there is no holiness in stained glass if the sky above it is dying. These first 5 reforms from Pope Leo XIV reveal a deep commitment to humility, compassion, and a renewed connection with both people and creation. His actions are not just changing policy, they are reflecting a profound spiritual vision rooted in his own life's journey. In our next video, I'll reveal the remaining 5 powerful changes Pope Leo XIV is making, from empowering local churches to increasing transparency and bringing back ancient traditions. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss part 2. If this story moved you, please like this video, share it with someone who still believes in quiet courage. May God bless you all.